Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalalim La Yahawashi Yahshua Kodash, and double honors to greatness and apostles. Thought Yahshua for the strength in order to make this video. And this is the part 2 to the other previous video that said Yahawashi made the ultimate sacrifice. And it's the brother Ratazar Racha Halawayah. So I just wanted to continue on because I was reading Matthew chapter 27. And I said I'll continue on in the part 2 as well. So this is Matthew chapter 27. I'll start from verse 11. So Matthew 27 and 11. And Yahawashi stood before the governor. So this is the time again, just as a reminder, the time where Yahawashi was, he was pretty much brought to court. And of course from there, Pontius Pilate then deemed what the people wanted to be done unto Yahawashi. And then, as we read on, we'll know what they did there. So this is Matthew 27 and 11. And Yahawashi stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And Yahawashi said unto him, Thou sayest. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then saith Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? Which again, as I mentioned in the previous video, Pontius Pilate was saying, do you not realize the it was actually false accusations, in the reality of things, but the accusations of which the people were saying unto Yahawashi. And they said the priests and the elders in the previous verse. It says in verse 14, and he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Yeah, so which means Yahawashi kept silent, to respond to him. Well, he didn't respond. That's the point. So it says in verse 50, now at the feast of the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. So basically that's just talking about the fact that he let the people choose who should be released or who should be put to death or crucified rather. So yeah, verse 15 again, Matthew 27 and 15. Now at that feast of the governor that wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. And there had been a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Whom will ye that I release unto you, Barabbas or Yahawashi, which is called Hamashiach? And it says here verse 18, for he knew that for envy they had delivered him. When he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with the just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. So of course, people, were having dreams out there because Yahawashi, which obviously was the actual innocent man here in this case, was about to be put to death, man. People flipping getting dreams out here. Let me read that again, actually. So, Matthew 27 and 19. When he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. Verse 20, but the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Yahawashi. So they're saying, let Barabbas live and then just basically crucify Yahawashi. That's what the people were saying, man. So it says that the governor answered and said unto them, Whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you? They said Barabbas. So which one of the two would I release? That's what Pontius Pilate was saying. Pilate said unto them, What shall I do then with Yahawashi, which is called Hamashiach? Which Hamashiach means the anointed, by the way. And it says, they all said unto him, Let him be crucified. And the governor said, Why what evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, Let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but rather but that the rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person, see ye to it. I'm going to read that again as well, man. But the point is that Pilate knew that Yahawashi did nothing wrong. That's why he was referred to as the just man, innocent, and of course the righteous man in that case. That's why he said, I'm going to wash my hands so that the blood is off my hands. Now let me read that again, as I said, man. And hold on. I'll read again from about verse 23. So this is Matthew 27 and 23. And the governor said, why, what evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, let him be crucified. So the people were charting, to crucify Yahawashi, not knowing that they were really saying that in their own ignorance and foolishness. Because they don't know who Yahawashi is, man. The second in command of the whole universe. They don't realize that this same Yahawashi will be the ones who were supposed to save Israel. Will be the one to save Israel, rather. As I always like to say, more specifically, the elect of Israel who will start the refinement of Israelites in the kingdom. So this is verse 24. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person, see ye to it. So of course Pilate didn't want to have any hand in this crucifixion. That's the thing, because you knew this was going to be a murder of an innocent person, the crucifixion of an innocent person, which is Yahawashi. That's why he washed his hands. In verse 25, then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and our children. So of course, again, they operated in ignorance and in folly, man, in foolishness, without reason. Hence why they said that. Let his blood be upon us and on our children, man. And people start to wonder why the Most High's got certain Israelites in a certain situation or circumstance, or which is quite adverse to them, man, quite hard for them. It's because of this thing right here. Because you have those same people who said those words, his blood be on us and on our children, basically asking for the Yahawashi to put a curse upon you, man, generation upon generation, when you come back in the spirit. Well, I say come back in the spirit. When your spirit comes back to earth again, in a new vessel for each generation that you come back. And that's reference to reincarnation, which I need to also do a lesson on that as well. But it says here, then release he. So yeah, pretty much, as I said, they're asking for a curse. That's the point. So really, them curses in Deuteronomy 28, they're going to go hard, especially upon those of whom, said this in the ignorance, which is obviously was Yahweh's will at the end of the day. But that's the mindset of Israel, man. His blood be on us and on our children. And just know, the same way they hated Yahawashi then is the same way they're going to hate us, his servants, in the time to come, where Esau's going to be at the peak of his power, with his MOTB, with the, I could say the word, but I already said it, I'll probably say every now and then, but with the MOTB mark of the beast. So when that time then comes, and then people start to get that implant inside of them, then it's going to be a time of great hatred towards the prophets, man. So yeah, the servants of Yahawashi. So verse 26, then released he Barabbas unto them, and when he has scourged Yahawashi, he delivered him to be crucified. So scourge is really talking about getting whipped. He delivered him to be crucified. So Yahawashi, he was going through his suffering, man. So we got to also keep in mind, even when the time comes where certain brothers may be in prison, or even as a pilgrim for a time, and then get captured in prison as well, in that time we have to prepare our minds that we have to suffer, for Yahawashi's sake, man. Because, he suffered for us, rightfully so. We have to return back that favor as well, as servants, as his servants. We have to return that back, that favor, which will require us to suffer torture, which is what I'm trying to say. So gotta pray for strength, man, in that time. Because, one thing is teaching the scriptures, another thing is actually living it out as well. So it says in verse 27, then the soldiers of the governor took Yahawashi into the common hall, and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had plaited a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head and reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail the King of the Jews. Yeah, so that moment right there, them soldiers made a grave mistake, man. Because in a time where the judgment comes as well, imagine Yahawashi could put the same thought of what they did in a dream. And they probably wouldn't even recognize it. They'll be familiar with it. As though, those type of dreams that are very vivid, where you feel as if you're the person in the dream, but you're actually another person. If you kind of get what I mean. It's just basically like having a dream. They could have a dream of their past life, but in their perspective, they'll feel as if it's another person, but it's actually them. It's the same spirit. Hence why they feel the dream vividly. That could be something that Yahawashi could put upon their spirits the day before, they're brought to the spiritual realm, which is basically facing judgment before, they die. So them soldiers, man, they made a grave mistake, a very serious mistake. So, which is all the will of Yahweh at the end of the day. This is the story that we're playing out here. So verse 30, Matthew 27 and 30, and they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment onto him and led him away to crucify him. So yeah, they were mocking him, spitting on him. These are things of which Yahawashi had to suffer through. Now let me get a quick precept before I then continue on. It's really the main focus of this lesson is again on Matthew 27 on Yahawashi suffering, man. He made the ultimate sacrifice for us, for Israel, and I always like to say for the elect specifically, man, which are his servants. 144,000 governing body, in Yahawashi's kingdom. So, I said I wanted to get a precept on alright. First Corinthians 9 or something. 1 Corinthians 9 about verse 24. Actually, no, not that. 2 Corinthians. I'm just reading the precept before I read it out to see if it's the right one, or if it's right in this context right now. Because Yahawashi, as I said, he was spit on, he was mocked as well. So what, I'm gonna read the main verse that I wanted to get as well. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 19. For ye suffer fools gladly, seeing ye yourselves are wise. So Yahawashi was had to also suffer a fool as well, man. For people to mock him, to seem as though you're losing when you're actually winning in the long term. He was playing the long game here. Which is the same way we're also playing the long game here as well. That's why it says here, 2 Corinthians 11, verse 19, for ye suffer fools gladly, seeing ye yourselves are wise. Which means we've got the wisdom of these scriptures to know, okay, we have the foresight of the future. And we know that at the end of the day, Yahawashi that we do endure to the end and we gain that salvation that Yahawashi has given us the opportunity for. We're the ones who are going to win. The same way Yahawashi has won as soon as, he did his job, man, and then, died on the cross. So despite him looking pretty much being perceived, mocked, as a fool here, because that's the way he looked like right now, everyone just perceiving carnally. Not everyone had the foresight, apart from the apostles, the disciples of Yahawashi, of what's to come and of him ruling in his kingdom. The same way right now, we're also going to have to suffer fools, people mocking us, torturing us, just making false accusations on us as well. To the point where, we're going to look like we're losing, man. But at the end of the day, scriptures tells that in the day of thy power, thy people shall be willing, which means they're going to be seeing, well, that's also pertaining to spiritual power as well. They're going to be seeing the same servants of whom they mocked also perform the judgment, which will pertain to Yahawashi. You know, because that day when that spiritual power comes, okay, I'm gonna knuckle down. You know, when the enemy shall come in as a flood, then shall Yahawashi shall raise up a standard against him. That standard is spiritual power, man. So the same people who are mocked right now, the same way Yahawashi was mocked, his servants being mocked as well. As I said in the previous video about the servant is not greater than his master. It's the same way. Also, we're also gonna have to suffer a fool for a time, but we know that we're wise because we have foresight into what's to happen because of the scriptures and the understanding unlocked by Harakha Kodash, which means the Holy Spirit. So once again, 2 Corinthians 11 and 19, for ye suffer fools gladly. So which means we may be perceived as fools, and we may let ourselves, of course, be perceived as fools gladly because of the fact that we know that we are wiser than the ones who accuse us or treat us as idiots or fools. Because the point is, we know that at the end of the day, we're going to get back at them, man. It's like the flipping, Tortoise and the Hare? Yeah, Tortoise and the Hare. I remember watching that with Looney Tunes, man. You know, back in my younger days as well. Where the tortoise, the tortoise is actually the wiser one, man. He knew, he was just pretending to be slow. He was pretending to be slow. You know, he was the wise one there. And then, but the thing is, as the hare was running, you know, Bugs Bunny in Looney Tunes, as he was running as well, the different versions of this story, man. But yeah, as he was running, you know, he was speeding. But the thing is, the original story was the fact that he was running and he slept because he thought, okay, by the time he wakes up, the tortoise would still be too slow. But in this Looney Tunes twist, there's one where the tortoise actually has like a flipping rocket engine in its in its shell. So that's like us right now, man. You know, we suffer fools right now, but we got a flipping rocket engine behind our backs, man, which is really Harakha Kodash and the foresight, the wisdom provided by the scriptures, man, as well as the knowledge as well. So those three things, the knowledge, the wisdom, and of course the foresight that the scriptures provide us, man. Which is why it says here, for ye suffer fools gladly, seeing ye yourselves are wise. So we ain't bothered about, you know, Esau, Edom getting down on us and trying to humiliate us, you know, break relationships, you know, whether it be with family or so-called friends of the world and whatnot. That time is coming, betrayals are coming, but we know that at the end of the day, we will win in the long term, and the long term always matters more than the short term. And that's why Esau's rulership, which is really in the short term, is a loss, even though it seems like he's trying to win, but it's a loss, So Matthew 27 and verse, let's see, hold on, verse 31, and after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by the name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation written, This is Yahawashi, the King of the Jews. Then, and obviously they did that in a mocking sense. So it says, Then were there 2 thieves crucified with him, one on the right and another on the left, and they had passed by, reviled him, wagging their heads. So even the thieves as well, man, you know, they had at least a portion of ignorance in them as well. So it says there, and they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads. Oh, actually, that's talking about the ones who were walking by, yeah. Verse 39, where it says, and they that passed by. So, of course, they were walking, you know, seeing Yahawashi being crucified, reviled him and wagging their heads. So, yeah, they were in that sphere of ignorance. And saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest it in 3 days. You see, they're mocking him now. Because you remember, what he said, but they didn't have the discernment, the wisdom to actually filter out the true meaning of that as well. It says, if thou be the Son of the Most High, come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests mocking him with the scribes and elders said, he saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross and we will believe him. Yahawashi don't need to chase the validation of people that are below him, man. You don't need to. You only had one purpose, which is to perform and please the will of Yahweh, the Father Almighty. That's what he was there to do, not to please man. That's why he didn't do what man said just now about, okay, prove to us that you are the, what did it say there? Let me actually read it again. So it says hold on. So I can get the point across, innit? Oh yeah, it says in verse 40, Matthew 27 and 40, if thou be the Son of the Most High, come down from the cross. So of course, as I said, my Yahawashi wasn't there to please the will of man, only to perform and please Yahweh, Father Almighty, man. So of course, to please Yahweh. So, which is the Most High. And it says in verse 42 or 41, likewise also the chief priests mocking him with the scribes and the elders said, he saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross and we will believe in. Again, Yahawashi did not care about that, man. The point is to perform the will of the Father. That's the business right there. Verse 43, he trusted in the Most High. Let him deliver him now if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of the Most High. The thieves also which were crucified with him cast the same in his teeth. So when it says cast the same in his teeth, basically they did the mockings as well, and you know, pretty much they were because I know I searched this up previously as well. When it says cast the same in his teeth, it means they said similar things, you know, to mock Yahawashi as well. So it says verse 45, now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. And it says, and about the 9th hour, so of course this was the beginning, man. Let me read that again. It says verse 45, now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th house. So look, onto the 9th hour. Between the 6th hour to the 9th hour. So that's 3 hours between those time points. So verse 46, and about the 9th hour, Yahawashi cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. Let me read that slowly. Lama sabachthani. That is to say, my power, why hast thou forsaken me? Yeah. Of course, Eli in the Hebrew is also Alaya, which is my power, You know, so verse 47, some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, this man calleth for Elias. Which is Elijah, is actually Alaya in the Hebrew as well, which is my power. You know, so I don't think the guys were flipping understanding him, man. When he said, because just think about it. In verse 47, it says, some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, this man called for Elias, which is obviously reference to Elijah. He was saying he wasn't calling for Elijah, man. Really, he was calling upon Yahweh. He was just saying, my power, man. That's what he was saying. And the people there flipping saying he's calling for Elias. Anyways, verse 48, and straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink. So of course that fear was upon that guy, man, to give him vinegar to drink for those group of guys. But it says, and straightway one of them, so it was pretty much a guy there. It says, the rest said, let us see whether Elias will come to save him. See? That's the thing, man. When the scriptures say, my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge, man. They did not have any discernment. Why would Yahawashi call for Elijah, man? That's the thing. Why would Yahawashi do this? He was calling upon Yahweh by the means of saying my power, you know, which is Yahweh. He was calling upon Yahweh there, of course, by saying my power, my power. So it says there, verse 50. Let me read verse 49 again. So Matthew 27:49. The rest said, let us see whether Elias will come to save him. Again, they were operating in ignorance, man. You know, it's always annoying, you know, when you got to deal with ignorant Israelites. But, you know, as I always like to say, it's always the will of the Most High at the end of the day. And we know that Yahawashi, when Yahawashi's kingdom is established, all Israel will be cleaned up and refined through the loins of the elect as well. So that's the hope that we got as well. That's part of the hope that we got. You know, as well as the downfall of this kingdom. You know, Esau's kingdom. Now, so verse 50, Yahawashi, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain, and from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. So, of course, people would have been shocked, severely shocked, just by the incident, man. You know, bodies resurrecting of the saints. You got as well of you got the temple as well, the veil of the temple splitting into two. That's when they're gonna realize, yeah, this is truly the son of Yahweh, man. This is the begotten son of Yahweh, and that's Yahawashi. That's what people would have realized, but you know, that's too late right then, man. That's too late. So verse actually I was in verse 54. I'll read up to verse 56 and then that'll be it. So Matthew 27 and verse 54. Now when the centurion and they that were with him watching Yahawashi saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, because that was a realization moment, saying, truly this was the Son of the Most High, Yahweh. And many women were there beholding afar off, so you know they saw it from a distance, which followed Yahawashi from Galilee, ministering unto him, among which was Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's children. So the point is, man, Yahawashi made the ultimate sacrifice. So let me get another. And he completed his mission. Which we ought to learn from. And we always have to pray for strength in order to complete our mission, which is to endure to the end, as well as gain that salvation Yahweh is of. Of course, pray for humility as we do so. So 1 Corinthians 9 and verse 24. 1 Corinthians 9 and 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. I read verse 25 as well. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate, self-restraining in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Again, as the scripture says in 2 Corinthians 11 verse 19, about see ye yourselves are wise. You know, you suffer fools gladly because ye yourselves are wise. You know, roughly paraphrasing that one again. It's because of this right here, man, because we're striving for that incorruptible crown, not the corruptible. That corruptible crown is perceived by the world, by worldly wisdom. But of course, that worldly wisdom is temporary. We're seeking something that's eternal, which is the incorruptible bodies, and also the eternal bodies, man. You know, and as well as that rulership position that Yahawashi will provide us with. But yeah, it also says in verse 24 again, know ye not that they which run a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. We're going to obtain that incorruptible crown, man, in the long term. Which, of course, when I say long term, it's really not too long from now anyways, but it's the long term in the grand scheme of things, you know, in terms of history until now. So, let's see if there's one more preset. I think actually that was the final one, really. But yeah, that's really the point, you know, of the video, man. Yahawashi made the ultimate sacrifice. He made the ultimate sacrifice, really, to give us the opportunity to understand this truth, and not just to understand this truth as well, but to also work so that Yara Tazar, which is obviously not of our works anyways, but we still have to do it nevertheless, because that's what the elect will be doing. Doing what Yahawashi has commanded us to do, to go out in the highways and byways and preach and to produce fruit. So as we then do that, Yara Tazar, we will also have faith to have the expectation that we will also gain the salvation, because the fact that Yahawashi has given us an opportunity right here to understand these scriptures, of course, and given us to teachers, which is the great Muslim apostles, hence why we say double honors unto them. The scriptures talk about it in 1 Timothy 5:17. So with all that in mind, the goal is to gain salvation in Yahushua's kingdom, to be protected from Jacob's trouble and all the evils that are to come as well, which will just be increasing, and the judgment as well, to be preserved from it. It's to then eventually be to be protected, and also to be preserved from the hour of temptation, which is really rejecting the mark of the beast and staying that way, to gain salvation ultimately, and then we would finally enter into our rest, man. So again, Yahawashi made the ultimate sacrifice, and we are here to fulfill our part, in return unto Yahawashi, man, which is really just our reasonable service. So, because at the end of the day, it's through the strength that Yahweh and Yahawashi has given us that allowed us to even to be doing what we're doing right now. So, Akim, I'm gonna end it off there. Yara Tazade edified, for the part 2 of the video. Yahawashi made the ultimate sacrifice, which is what this video is. So Shalom, Kal Halalim La Yahawashi Yahshua Bashem Kudash, double honors to great Muslim apostles, and Thal the Yahshua for the strength in order to make this video. Shalom once more.